steam coming off the wet towels like a boiling kettle. 6 degrees increase in skin temperature, 7 degrees, and rising further still. Rather than freezing, the monks were getting hotter. With the help from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in 1981, Dr. Herbert Benson and his team of colleagues were permitted unprecedented access to Buddhist monks in Upper Dharamsala in Tibet. They witnessed bone-chillingly icy wet towels drying on the backs of meditating monks. The towels were dried by their master of mind and physiology during deep meditation, and this was measured on quantitative measuring devices. The monks had complete control of their body purely through focused mental attention and intention. To say this is extraordinary seems somewhat of an understatement, but add this to the fact that Dr. Benson's team also measured a huge decrease in metabolic rate at the same time, would seem to defy what we understand possible from classical science. In other words, although the monks managed to raise their skin temperature by an astounding 8.3 degrees Celsius, their metabolic rate, essentially the rate at which we burn calories and produce heat, dropped by 60%. To put this into some context, whilst we are in a seemingly complete state of shutdown during sleep, our metabolic rate will drop between 10 and 15%. These Tibetan monks, however, dropped their metabolic rate by 60%, whilst simultaneously increasing their body temperature. Conventional understanding would have said this to be impossible because such physiological aspects of body functions are part of the involuntary nervous system and therefore seemingly outside of our personal conscious control. However, science evolves with increased knowledge, and it's scientists like Dr. Benson who dare to study outside of conventional paradigms who are the true trailblazers of modern scientific discovery. They are providing us with an undeniable amount of research which opens our minds as to what we humans are truly capable of, what we can achieve, what we can influence and attract into our lives for more health, inner peace and happiness. Studies show that people who hold a belief in the supernatural or the paranormal are not desperately trying to find meaning to their lives because they feel out of control, for example. In fact, such beliefs are positively correlated to an increased sense of control of oneself and one's life. So believing that there is a spiritual or supernatural element to life in which we are inextricably part of and co-creators of is not an uneducated view, not a reflection of gullibility or due to a lack of control. In fact, it is quite the opposite. The belief in something more than the reality we see is increasing, whilst the belief in a God figure is in decline. The National Scientific Foundation report in 2002 showed that population surveys carried out in 1990, 1996 and 2001 demonstrates a steady increase in the belief that humans have an ability to influence objects and reality. Today, more than 60% of us believe this to be true. Believing in a reality in which you are the influencer, the manifester, the co-creator may seem like gullibility or a lack of intelligence to some people, and yet in 2003 the Harris poll showed an increase in education was correlated with an increase in paranormal beliefs. This survey suggests that the more we know, the more we believe that there is something beyond our perceived abilities. Certainly, as highly educated men and women of science delve deeper into the true causation of reality, their minds are open to the connection between the reality we experience and our own consciousness.